Okay, welcome and thank you for joining in this video. When we think of Microsoft Excel, we think of numbers usually. Formulas, functions, creating graphs, and the like. But did you know that Excel has very powerful features when working with text? That's what I'm going to show you in this video. So for example, I'm going to take this information here in column F and break it down into 3 separate columns without having to type it myself. So the first function is called the left function. So I'm going to click here in G2. I'm going to type in equal left left parenthesis. Now there are only 2 arguments that are needed, which is real simple. The first argument is the cell address that contains what I want to test. So I clicked on F2, separate the argument with a comma, and then I type a 2. That's because I want to take the first 2 leftmost characters and put the answer right here. So when I close the paren and press enter, I have the value of C1. Pretty easy, huh? Now I'll go to the opposite, which is the right function. I want to grab the last 4 characters and put those characters in the floor column in column I. So similarly, equal, now it's the right RIGHT function, and I grab it from the cell address, F2, separate the argument with a comma, and I type in number 4, because I want to work my way backwards, 4 characters from the right. And there we go, FL01. Now, this middle one, for building, which is these characters right here in the middle, uses a function called mid. So I go equal MID, left parenthesis. You will see that there are 3 arguments. The first argument is the cell address that contains the value, in this case F2, separate it with a comma. Now I want to go over to the 3rd character from the left. So I type in number 3, and my 3rd argument is how many characters do I want to include? Well, I want to include 2, the 3rd and the 4th characters. Close the paren, press enter, and there is my answer, BA, for this first one. Pretty neat, huh? Now I want to use what's called the concatenate function, or concat, in order for me to get the person's full name here in column J. Now, in this instance, when I say full name, I'm going to save a little bit of time and ignore the middle initial. I'll just have the first name and the last name. But you'll see when I use the function, you can very easily allow for the middle initial to appear as well. So I start typing the function, equal CONCAT. I'll grab the concat function. I'll double click on it. And the first argument is the cell address that contains the person's first name. In this case, B2, comma, double quote mark. I want a space in between the first and last name. Hit a space bar, type the double quote, type a comma, and now click on the cell address that has the last name. Now if I did want the middle initial here, I would just repeat the process and have an extra space in between the first name and the middle initial. Okay, so now I close the paren, press enter, and there is her name, Minnie Pope. For this last step here, for legal name, I'm not going to type it in manually, although I could. Rather, I'm going to go to the Formulas tab, click on the Text category button, and the name of the function that I want is called TEXTJOIN. And you'll see the function arguments dialog box comes up for this function. And before I go into explaining each argument, I grabbed from the dictionary what the word delimiter means. A blank space, comma, or other character or symbol that indicates the beginning or end of a character string, word, or data item. Well, I want the delimiter for this function to simply be a space. So I have to enclose that within double quote marks. Type in the double quote mark, hit the space bar, another double quote, and now the second argument says ignore empty, and it says right here, If true, it will ignore empty cells. What that means is not every person here has a salutation or a suffix. So when it sees that it doesn't contain anything, it will ignore it. So I put the word true in that argument field. Now, the next and last argument is what do I want to actually test? In this case, it's the range of cells going from A2 over to E2. And I would click OK, but before I click OK, I can see that I have the answer. Minnie S. Pope. Click OK, there's my answer. Full legal name. Now, what I want to do is I want to highlight all of the values that I just did for the first record and use the autofill feature to fill in the remaining people. Here we go. Isn't that cool? So in this case, what I want to do is find just the last name and put it in here in K12. Nothing else, just the last name. So I will start by typing equals left parenthesis, the cell address where I want to grab the information from, in this case J12, comma. Now I have to embed the find function inside of the left function. And what I want to do is find the comma. I have to enclose that within double quote marks. Separate that argument with the address again, J12, because I want to take the J12, find all of those characters, but I want to subtract one character because I don't want the comma at the end to appear. So what I have to do then is close the find function with the right parenthesis and then subtract 1 and then close that parenthesis from the left function. And there it is, Thompson. Now, that contains 8 characters. So Tim's last name only contains 6. So when I do a copy and paste or autofill, will it work? Let's find out. It does. As you can see, it only grabbed the first 6 characters because it searched from the left and it finds the comma, which is right after the last name right here, stops at that point, and then I want to take the full value up to that point minus 1 character to get rid of the comma, and that's how I got it to work. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed these tips. Have a great day. Bye-bye.